What exactly is philosophy? Is it a bunch of meaningless, abstract thinking about things of no consequence? Or does it actually serve as the foundation for much of what we think we know about knowledge, reality, and morality, for example? In this video, we're going to try to establish a working definition of what philosophy is, examining, amongst other things, the etymology of the term. Like I said, let's start very broadly. This is a philosophy class. Well, what the heck is philosophy? Now, my guess is you probably had sort of a certain connotation associated with philosophy, a general idea of what it is, and it's probably, roughly speaking, you know, akin to what philosophy really is, right? So, I mean, I don't mean to speak for you guys, but presumably, right, you associate philosophy with like deep questions, thinking about the deep stuff. You know, why are we here? What happens when we die? What's really going on? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And philosophy is certainly concerned with those capital T big truths. That's what keeps yours truly lying awake at night, right? Definitely true. But I just wanted to emphasize that in some sense, philosophy is really concerned with the truth in general, whether it's capital T big truths, lowercase t little truths, right? The philosopher is just interested in what the truth is, what is really happening. Of course, again, the big questions certainly is part of that. But also, you know, philosophy is going to train us to analyze all aspects of the truth, including like the lowercase t truths, right? Does my car really need the 17 repairs that the mechanic suggests, right? Philosophers are interested in the truth in all its various shapes and sizes, okay? And so studying philosophy, I would argue, like, because a lot of times we'll get the question, like, where does this get us? Like, what use is this? Well, even if we don't get the answers to the big questions, it's training our minds to think analytically, right? And to approach certain things, right, a certain way. And so maybe it's the case that actually what we'll find is that it'll shine a light on all the things that we don't know, right? It'll make it clear what we don't really know to be the case. So maybe it's kind of like a negative process. So Socratic wisdom, we're going to get to know this idea of Socratic wisdom, this idea that true wisdom or knowledge lies in appreciating everything you don't know. So maybe philosophy is going to help us, right? Maybe it won't illuminate certain answers, but it'll help shed the light on the fact that we don't actually have the answers, right? Whereas some of us seem to think we do until we kind of are made aware of our ignorance, right? So Socrates, as we'll see early on in the course, reluctantly finally agrees that he is the wisest one on earth. Why? Because he's the only one that acknowledges just how much of an idiot he is, right? All he's ever suggested is he knows nothing. Well, that's what puts him one up, because everyone else thinks they know things that they don't. Right? So maybe philosophy, maybe it's the case that we don't get the big answers, but we're still like training our minds, right? We still get kind of that, I kind of put it in terms of negative knowledge, that awareness of all the things we actually don't know, right? One way or another, though, however you want to couch it, right? Philosophy is concerned with shining the light on the truth. Okay? And maybe it's the case that we'll shine a light on all the things we thought we knew, but we don't, right? One way or another, right? We're trying to get a better bearing on what is actually happening, what is true, okay? So going back to, so that's what I'm, again, trying to characterize what philosophy is in general, so hopefully, again, that's helpful. The term itself is a Greek word that has two root words, right? Philo, and that's why I put a slash here and kind of indicate that in the word there. So philos, typically translated friend or lover, and then Sophia, wisdom or knowledge. So that sounds pretty fancy. We're all philosophers in here now. Welcome to the club. We're all lovers of wisdom or knowledge or truth, however you want to put it. Okay, so again, that's philosophy in the broadest sense, right? That's what we're up to in here. Now that we have a working definition of what philosophy actually is, we'll turn our attention to when and where philosophy started. And in doing so, in the next video, we'll turn our attention to some ancient Greek thinkers who, for the first time, really started doing philosophy systematically.